Hi Patriots, Miss Greco here for your very first video about our learner profile attributes. Our learner profile attributes are attributes that we want to demonstrate each and every day while we're here at Pineview, at home, and in our community. So throughout the school year, we highlight each month different learner profile attributes, and we look for those qualities in each other, and we celebrate them, as well as learning more about what they mean. So the one that we have for August is Inquirer, because that's how we always want to start our year, inquiring about the world around us and really developing our skills about wondering and asking questions. So let me give you an example of what it means to be an inquirer. This summer, we got a new puppy. It's this little sweet face down here. Her name is Blanche. She came and started living with us when she was only 10 weeks old, which is a very small puppy. So one of the things I was most nervous about was what would happen if she got away from our house and we didn't have any way to find her. So I started wondering how long it would take for her to be able to find her own way back to our house. So I started taking her on walks in hopes that she would learn the neighborhood, the smells, and be able to find her way home if she were to ever get out. Well, that thought of what would happen if she got away from our home and how would she find her way back led me to inquire and wonder more about how animals actually do find their way around. We as humans, especially in 2020, have decided to rely heavily on technology to help us find our way from one place to another, but animals don't have technology to use. So what's the animal way of finding their way home? So that question, that wonder, had led me to research some information. Researching can be asking the question to someone who's an expert. It can be using the internet or Google or YouTube to learn more, or it could be asking the question and reading a book. In this case, I went for the video because I just wanted something short and quick to just get my answer. So here I found a video called How Animals Find Their Way Home. So I want to now take the last step of being an inquirer, which is sharing what I've learned with others. So here's the video that I found about how animals find their way home. And now I'm sharing that information with you, so now you can become more knowledgeable about that. See how the whole cycle of inquirer works? You ask a question, you research to find out more, and you share your information with others. So each and every day in class, your teachers are really working hard to make sure that you are learning and thinking in this cycle, asking questions, learning to find out more, and sharing your information. So I look forward to sharing more knowledge that I have and more resources that I have with you about the learner profile attributes this year. Remember, our first one we always start with is an inquirer. So I can't wait to hear what you're inquiring about. Have a fantastic day, and I look forward to hearing all about your wonders. Now enjoy the movie.
Wow, it is so good to be back at the fort! Right, Squeaks? Our research trip was great, but it's so good to be officially home. Hi everyone, Jessie and Squeaks here. We just got back from our big research trip in Cahokia, and we missed you so much while we were gone. We learned a ton of cool things, but we're excited to be back at the fort to do more science. And speaking of science, while we were on our way home, I started thinking about how lots of animals travel during the year. Every spring and fall, all kinds of animals migrate or travel long distances to do things like have babies or find food. And that got me wondering, how do they know where they're going? You don't see birds flying around with maps. So I decided to find out. And it turns out animals have some really neat tricks. What's that, Squeaks? You can totally take a guess. Whenever you have a science question, it can be a great idea to brainstorm what you think the answer is. So, how do you think animals know which way to go? Ooh, landmarks! Great idea! Landmarks are special things you notice along your journey that you recognize when you see them again. Like how when I'm on my way to the store, I know I always have to turn right at the big blue house on the corner. And it turns out animals use landmarks too, except they're not always looking at houses. They might use bushes or logs or bigger things like forests or mountains. When they see a mountain that's familiar, they know they're going the right way. Except, well, here's a question. What if there aren't any good landmarks? Like some animals fly or swim in the ocean, which is just a bunch of water. So how do they know where to go? Squeaks, any ideas? Yeah, that's okay. It's a tricky one. When there aren't good landmarks, some animals that are awake at night, like certain seals and birds, use the stars for directions. They look for things like patterns in the stars, and when they find the right pattern, they know that walking, swimming, or flying toward those stars will take them where they need to go. Isn't that so cool? Sometimes when you chase your curiosity and try to find answers to the things you wonder about, you end up learning something amazing that you never could have guessed. So, some animals use landmarks and some use stars. But other animals, like certain birds and bees, can do something extra cool. Something people can't do. They have an internal compass. You might have used a compass if you've ever been on a hiking trip. They have a little needle in them that always points north, so they can tell you which direction you're going. Birds and bees have a compass like this inside them. We're still learning how it works, but these animals can tell which way is north all by themselves. So when it's time to move, they know which way they're facing. Man, I wish I had an internal compass. That would have made getting back to the fort so much easier. But that's okay. Squeaks and I had a map, and we know which landmarks to look out for on the way, so we didn't get lost. Too many times. I'm so glad we decided to explore how animals get home, though. They do it so many ways, and it really makes me think about how different and interesting each kind of animal is. I hope you had fun learning about them with me too. It's so good to be back, and I'm excited about everything that we're going to learn this